All right, folks. It's another episode of America's Hometown Horror that is yet again brought to you by Shine Through Window Cleaning. Shine Through Window Cleaning, in case you haven't heard, is a family-owned and operated company that proudly serves America's hometown and the surrounding area. They truly treat your home or business like they would treat their own, and they definitely believe in building their reputation on every job they do. Get in touch with Shine Through today to discuss your window cleaning, gutter cleaning, and power washing needs at 781-812-9189. That's 781-812-9189 or at shinethroughwindowcleaning.com. That's right, folks. Their new website, which is Shine, T-H-R-U, Window Cleaning, Shine Through Window Cleaning.
Not to be confused with Shine Through Gutter Cleaning, Shine Through Power Washing, and Shine Through We Will Install Leaf Guards.
They do it all, folks. Hey, what is up? What is going on, folks? It's your boy Mike from America's Hometown Horror. How's everything going? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the show. And if you've listened to our ad read, you know that I am joined by my usual co-host this week. Another week of the original Three Amigos. No Craig, no other guests. It's just Andrew and Kat. Andrew, what's going on with your fresh haircut?
Feeling good, looking good.
Looking good,
just,
feeling good.
Feeling fresh?
Same as always. Glad to be here. Happy to be a person.
Absolutely. Kat, what's up with you and your fresh haircut? What's going on?
I haven't had a haircut in almost a year.
I know. I just wanted to make sure you felt included in the haircut
frames,
conversation.
I
yes.
I did. I got
that you're
new
not
glasses
wearing right
today.
now, but
no,
new glasses.
I know. I'll wear them soon.
Yeah, good. Well, I look forward to it. You look good in them.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
It.
You're very welcome. So, hey guys, we're back for another episode in our countdown to Halloween, and we have just 2 episodes or 2 weeks left at the time you guys will hear this until the end of October, and I am having my annual mid-October freak out.
Oh my God, stop
that
it.
I am not taking full advantage of the Halloween season, even though we've been to 2 haunted attractions, done a interview with paranormal stuff, watched some good scary movies. I always feel like it's not enough.
It's been
like it's not enough
for me. I've never done both of those things
it's
ever.
so
Yeah.
much.
Well, actually, I've been to Barrett's, but it's been great. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I wish there was something a little more closer to home, like in Plymouth. Like, I feel like Plymouth needs its own America's Hometown Horror
So
at King Richard's
event.
Fair, they have a drive-in.
That's right.
So they're showing on the King Richard's Fairgrounds where they normally would have King Richard's Fair right now.
Yeah, or at least the parking lot, I think.
Or I think at least, yeah. And they're doing kind of similar to Barrett's, but without the cast members like walking through. They're doing just a drive-in.
It's just a drive-in with horror
For
movies.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty close to us. That's in Carver.
Yeah, so maybe we should actually try and do that before the season's up. 'Cause I know we talked about it, but...
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
I liked Barrett's when we did that, too. It was fun to sit in the back of the pickup truck.
Oh, it was fun. It was an awesome time. I mean, we talked about it a lot on the show we did on Barrett's, and it's gotten a good response, and it was a pleasure to be able to go to Barrett's and talk about it on the show. It's just weird because... I've been there so many times, and talking about it on this podcast still feels a little surreal to me, but people seem to like it, so I'm happy that we did that. Andrew, I'm glad to hear that you're kind of having an eventful, fun October, since you weren't really big into haunted attractions or anything like this before you started doing the show,
it wasn't that I wasn't big into them.
Just never did
Am I going to go by myself?
Right.
Like, if I had just asked Craig would probably go. Maybe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That would be weird, though. I wouldn't want to be...
Yeah, you need to go with...
Just
it's the same thing. You need to go with a group of people.
Yeah.
It's not like you can go to the movie theaters by yourself, which I think is a totally normal...
Or you at least need to go with a girl so you don't look like a complete...
Yeah. I can understand that.
So at least there's one... Even though it's Kat, it's still a girl.
Sure.
She's still there.
Fair.
Well, we were doing it for a show review purposes, obviously.
For
so
that
makes sense.
But if it was just me and you, Mike, I'd feel weird about that.
Yes, that would be a little strange.
You want to sit in the back of my truck?
2 buddies going through a
share
haunted
a
attraction. Yeah, 2 buddies hanging out in the back of the truck.
Yerk me off halfway through? Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, I wouldn't say...
Actually, don't tempt me with a good time.
Actually, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Why didn't we do that instead?
Yeah.
Hey, so guys, we have a YouTube channel now.
Yay!
Yes, what is the name of that YouTube channel? I'm actually wondering that as we speak.
Yeah, so if you just go on YouTube, it's a really weird, convoluted link with a bunch of numbers. But if you just go to YouTube and you search for America's Hometown Horror, we'll pop up.
Woo-hoo.
You can click on us, you can subscribe, as all the kids say these days, you can mash that bell to make sure you get notified of new episodes when they get released.
That's going to be a new thing at the end of our show. We're going to ring a bell. Every time we're going to go, please subscribe on YouTube. Yeah, because you want to be annoying.
Yeah.
You want to get followers.
Yeah.
You have to annoy people.
Yeah. Mash that bell, baby. Mash that bell. Watch all of our episodes on YouTube if you're so inclined. If you don't want to listen on your phone, you can watch us on your TV or on your video game system or whatever else you watch YouTube with. Your tablet, I guess. Sure.
Funny you should say that. I'm pretty sure
Laptop.
I watched a video on Pornhub last week called Mash That Bell. It might have been... Is that what we were
Why do you have to do that every time?
I haven't done that.
He's doing it for James.
I haven't. Okay, have I done that on every episode? No. It's been like 37 episodes.
You've left the pornographic references out the last
I swear to God, it's been
weeks.
It's been more than weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You go back through them, it's been since like the first 5.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well,
you've been quiet.
Welcome back.
So I had to bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back to Mo.
Yeah. Yep, so yeah, just go on YouTube, search for America's Hometown Horror. We have 2 episodes up so far, with more coming with the technology at our disposal. It's going to take a little while for us to upload the complete back catalog of episodes, but my goal is to eventually have them all on there, even the ones that were at the end of last year and the beginning of this year, where we sound very inexperienced and probably very terrible. But they'll be on there if you want to go on and laugh at us.
You know what I was just thinking? I don't think you have access to these files on your Snapchat, though, because you've done a lot of Snapchat.
Oh, I do.
And if we overplayed that over the podcast,
that'd be kind of cool.
I kind of don't want people to see my face and know what I look like.
I don't take pictures every time either.
Yeah, well, so I just have it right now, so it's just basically the audio of the show with our logo on the screen. So you basically watch it with our logo in the background the entire time. But yeah, so again, YouTube, America's Hometown Horror, just like the title of the show. Search for us, you'll find us on there. And please subscribe. We would really appreciate the support. If you want to listen to our episodes there, that's great. Leave us some comments. Who knows? Maybe we'll even respond, folks. Maybe we will even respond. But yeah, guys, we're back to a movie this week after doing a couple of haunted attractions the last few weeks and then doing some paranormal stuff the most recent episodes. So we are back to our old stomping grounds of doing a movie, I think for the first time since Creep.
Yeah, a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while because we did the old jail, then we did Barrett's, we did Spooky World, The Simpsons Draft, and then it was Creep before that. So we haven't done a movie in like a month, which is kind of wild. But a couple movies to close out October for you guys. And, anybody, I know, Andrew, I mean, we kind of talked about what you've been watching over the last week since we last recorded. You are just balls deep in Schitt's Creek right now, right?
Yeah, I need to finish that. I'm in the 5th season. It just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
I just need to actually get through that because it's an obsession now.
It's a phenomenal show.
It's a binge. That's what a binge is.
I know how you get, and you definitely need to see it through to the end before you can focus on something else. You need to devote all your energy to Schitt's Creek, which is a great show, so I don't blame you there one bit. But, Kat and I have kind of been watching a lot of stuff over the last week. I mean, we watched, I know we were talking about this before, we watched Beetlejuice, also starring Catherine O'Hara, recently.
We finished Ratched.
We did finish Ratched, yeah.
It's a horror-ish.
Yeah, we were like, I think midway through and we talked about it a couple episodes ago, and it's definitely like, it has that American Horror Story kind of vibe to it. It's, very Ryan Murphy-ish, very like, outlandish and kind of over the top, but very entertaining at the same time. And even though this is a limited series and it was very short, I think it was only like 8 episodes, kind of halfway through, kind of how I found most American Horror Story seasons recently. It loses steam about halfway through, and then it kind of picks up towards the end. It's like there's not enough plot to fill out the number of episodes that the show has. But the ending was good. I did like the ending. Yeah,
I thought it was great. I liked the series. I thought it was good. I'd recommend it.
Yeah. What do you think of The Haunting of Bly Manor through one episode?
Well, it's fine. I mean, it's interesting. I'm excited to watch more of it. So, I mean, I guess that's all I can really say after only watching one episode.
Same for me. I mean, I know this one, I've heard from numerous people that have already watched the whole thing that it kind of is a little bit slow getting off the ground. It takes a little while to get started, but once it does, it really kind of hums, which I loved The Haunting of Hill House. It was great.
Yeah, it was really good.
That show was, honestly, it was one of my favorite shows that year when it came out. I loved it. And I feel like it's just been so long since that I kind of forgot how good it was. Like, that's a show I would go back and rewatch, season 1. Andrew, you said you kind of been watching Haunting of Bly Manor in the background with your roommate, right?
Yeah, well, I got home and she was on, like, episode 5 or 4. I think it was 4. I had no idea what was going on, but it was the general premise of it was pretty good. She was also watching this other show too. It's a CBS show called Evil.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't think I've heard of that.
It was it's very like CSI trashy kind of feel to it, I feel like, but it's also not bad for a CBS show.
Is it a CBS All Access show?
No,
or
it was
CBS
on
show?
CBS.
So it's just on cable? Okay.
Yeah, and I think season 2 is coming. Yeah, it's on literal CBS cable.
Literal CBS, okay.
So my prospects were very low for this
show. I feel like any show that's on basic cable. But hey, basic NBC had Hannibal.
But see, also, I can't knock it because I kept watching it while she was watching it. Would have been easy enough just to leave the room, but engulfed me a bit.
Engulfed?
Ridiculous. A ridiculous show. Ridiculous premise.
Yeah, but entertaining.
Entertaining.
Okay, cool.
Kind of reminded me of in a slight way, Nightbreed, which...
Yeah, we talked about that a couple episodes ago, yeah.
Because
there's a new TV series coming out.
The psychologist in Evil is similar to the psychologist in Nightbreed, is that they're both somewhat like serial killers. Like the guy in Nightbreed is a serial killer. This guy is essentially a psychologist that tries to point his clients in a direction where they'll kill somebody or do something terrible.
Sounds like Hannibal and Hannibal.
Yeah, very similar.
Sounds like Hannibal and Hannibal.
But again, it's a CBS show, so it's kind of terrible.
Yeah.
But if they did it on someone
picks it up,
Well, hey, speaking of which, I didn't even have this written down, but I have never watched it. I know you were a fan of Dexter when it was on TV, and it actually just got announced that they are doing a limited series reboot of Dexter.
Yes.
Obviously, so talk a little bit about Dexter, Cat.
Sell
me on why I should watch this show.
No, I mean it's so good. It's
Andrew, I know you love this show too.
It is, but it's also, as I rewatch it again, it's trashy. It's such a
trashy?
It's like True Blood in the sense that it's like this is like a level of trash to it.
No,
it's soap opera. Soap.
No.
Opera-esque.
I like it. No, I like it
soap
because
opera-esque.
It's like a forensic show. Obviously, he goes in. He's the blood guy, so he looks at all the splatters and stuff.
We all know what the show.
Yeah,
is.
always like
I'm talking about the other 70% of the show.
It's kind of like Hannibal.
Yeah.
In a sense, as what's his face?
Will Graham.
Will Graham. Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like Will Graham and Dexter are kind of like the same person, except Dexter is a serial killer. Which did Will Graham actually kill anybody in Hannibal?
Yes, but for like in the line of duty, like not like he didn't murder anybody.
Right.
I don't think.
But Dexter he has a whole motive thing behind him and stuff. It's cool. It's really. I loved it. I'm excited.
I assume everybody's seen Dexter. If you haven't,
I have not seen an
rock
episode
from your head.
I have not seen an episode of Dexter.
Wait, did you see it?
You haven't?
Nope.
Why?
I've never watched it. I never got into it when it was on.
Stupid.
No, I didn't think it was stupid. And then I feel like it was one of those shows that I missed. I never watched. And then I heard the ending was one of the all-time worst endings for a television show.
Think
you know what else too though? I didn't hear the ending for Game of Thrones, but I didn't watch the previous 6-7 seasons.
Yeah.
And
true.
That show smells.
See, okay.
Oh my god.
This is a topic for a different episode because I could go all day.
We can't do this right now.
But I did not think the last season of Game of Thrones was as bad as people thought. I thought the way they got to the end point was a little rushed, but I feel like they kind of ended up where the show was telegraphing it was going to go the entire time. But again, topic for another.
Here I am giving you shit for not seeing Dexter yet. I hadn't seen Breaking Bad up until like a few months ago.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I actually watched it.
Yes, that's right. I forgot you watched that recently. Yeah, it's a great show. Oh, it's awesome.
Amazing.
The other movie
Why I hadn't watched it before, I don't know.
The other movie that we watched.
Yes.
Which
2 words, baby. 2 words for
Hocus
you.
Pocus?
No, it's not Hocus.
I have
we already did Hocus
I have 2
Pocus.
words for you, and those 2 words are Hubie. Halloween,
yeah,
baby.
you talk.
Oh, it was so good.
Oh my god, it was great.
I just liked it because of all the usual suspects that were in the movie. That I just was like, yes. I was like, then Shaq has this awesome scene in there. Like, there's so many cameos and all these people in it. It's just fun to watch.
It's basically like Adam Sandler is doing what he does in The Water Boy with the weird voice and the weird affects. But he's a Halloween-obsessed guy that lives in Salem. The movie was shot in Salem in L.A., so it was actually filmed in Salem. And he's just this goofball that runs around as the official town Halloween safety enforcer, and he's just a total fucking goofball.
For,
and it's
the neighborhood.
it's a Happy Madison movie, so it's got it's like you said, Adam Sandler's fucking entourage in there. Rob Schneider, Kevin James, Maya
Buscemi.
Rudolph, Steve Buscemi, fucking the guy from
James.
Yeah, Kevin James is the police chief with a
Stiller's in it,
sick
too.
mullet. Ben Stiller. This is actually kind of a spoiler if you haven't seen it yet. Hum in your ears for the next 15 seconds. Ben Stiller reprises his role as the fucking the nurse at the old people home from fucking Happy Gilmore.
Really?
Yeah,
yes.
Ben Stiller shows up in the first scene of the movie.
Oh my god, it's
as that same guy. And,
That's amazing.
And then there's a patient that escapes from the mental institution, which kind of kicks off the plot, that type of thing. But oh my god, I just can't say enough good things about Hubie Halloween. It's like one of those. It's funny, but it's like stupid funny, and it's one of those movies that get you in the mood for Halloween because it's all about Halloween. I fucking
That sounds
loved
amazing.
It. Yeah.
Is that on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. Yeah,
I'll
because
have to watch
Sandler
that.
has an exclusive deal with Netflix. Cat. What else? Anything else about the movie? Like,
no,
what
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely watch it. I might even watch it again.
Yeah, I honestly, if you want, I would watch it again. I fucking loved it. It was really funny. And like Ray Liotta's in it, like randomly. He plays like a town bully.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
like bullies like Hubie. And they keep calling him like Puby or Booby or
'cause
Poopy.
you gotta
or
think, how much
yeah,
is Ray
it's so
Liotta
funny.
getting to be in this movie?
Right.
It's on
Oh, yeah.
Netflix. They're probably like, whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah, he actually Kat brought this up. We actually Googled how old he was. And she was like, my God, like he actually looks pretty good for an old guy.
It really does. It's like 65.
Dude, because he was like...
Ray Liotta looks plastic.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's had a
He
lot of...
wears
he's had
so
a-
much eyeliner.
He's had a lot of work done.
Yeah, so he clearly looks. Oh, that man looks plastic.
Right.
He hasn't
Yes.
aged well. He's paid well for
Right.
his face.
And he can cost.
Yeah.
His face doesn't move
costume.
anymore.
I mean,
It's
he's
just
like-
stiff.
Right.
He's young, but he's not like a kid in Goodfellas, and that was in '92. So I mean, he was probably in his how old did we figure out?
He had to be in
was?
like
He's
late
65.
30s. He had to be in
Is he
his late
65?
30s in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Maybe
yeah,
late 20s.
yeah, but
early 30s.
I mean,
It's
he's
old
so
spot.
he's in that. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that we missed.
Keenan.
Yeah, Shaq. Oh, Kenan Thompson's in it. He's hilarious. That whole part was great. But yeah, Shaq has a huge cameo in it, which is fun. So yeah, I can't recommend Hubie Halloween
Yeah.
enough.
It was awesome. It was good. You should watch it. Everyone should watch it.
Hey, you guys ready to get into the news?
Yes.
Hey,
Wait,
guess
that
what?
wasn't the news? That
No.
was already the news.
Hey, guess what? I don't have any news.
Oh.
Kat, do some jumping jacks. You must be thrilled.
Dunkin' is here to keep you running with a much-needed taste of normal. To work, home, or work from home. With the coffee you like, just the way you like it. Whether that's a small hot black coffee, your daily 2 p.m. latte, or a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant and a medium iced coffee with oat milk, 1 sugar, 2 pumps of caramel, 1 pump hazelnut, a swirl of French vanilla, and a shot of espresso.
I call it my PM pep rally. You should really try it.
Whatever it is that gets you running, Dunkin's got you and always will. America runs on Dunkin'.
There's no news tonight.
I'm not going to do any jumping jacks, but I'm very happy.
Yes, exactly. Well, we had a lot
Are
that
we
we
just skip? Did you
we had a lot that we
skip
watched,
the
and I
news?
honestly I always when I'm putting down thoughts for what we want to talk about. I always go to certain websites and I look to see if there's anything interesting that comes out that we would want to talk about.
Well, you
and
just-
I just scrolled back through and I didn't really see anything of note.
You just mentioned the Dexter thing. That's kind of news.
That was like the one thing, but I didn't even have that written down. I kind of just like put it in. So yeah,
Oh.
we kind of did like a
Yeah,
little,
that
a
was
little
the
bit of
news.
We were
All
talking
right.
about like what we're watching.
News
But yeah,
over.
all right. So hey,
Move
are
on.
you ready to get into the topic du jour?
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
It sounds
Trick
good.
or treat.
Yeah, sounds good. You guys want to talk that?
Yeah, let's
All
do
right.
it.
All right, let's roll. All right, dude. So we mentioned that we were going to be moving on to the good-sounding topic du jour, which, of course, is a movie, as we mentioned before, a very good movie, a film that, a film, potentially,
Film.
A film.
Production.
a production, a masterclass of artistry and acting, writing, screenwriting, producing, directing, but a movie that will get you in one hell of a mood for Halloween.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that movie
That'll make you be thinking about jack-o'-lanterns for days.
Oh yeah.
That movie is called Trick or Treat, which is a 2007 horror movie that is directed by Michael Dougherty, who also directed a film that we talked about on our very first episode, you guys.
On Krampus.
Krampus,
And
directed
you
by
can
Michael
see
Dougherty.
all the elements.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you really can. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but you can definitely see the similarities. I love, like, kind of the exploration of the dark side of these holidays, right? I mean, Halloween's about like horror stuff anyway, but like the dark side of Christmas, I've always liked. I think that's interesting stuff. So Dougherty does a good job with Krampus, obviously.
What do you mean the dark side of Christmas?
Well, Krampus is like the dark side of Christmas.
Fair.
I think Trick or Treat's better than Krampus.
I think I like this movie better than I like Krampus as well. Krampus, I mean, that's actually a very tough call now that you're mentioning it.
Yeah, they might be on the same playing field, to be honest.
Actually, I take that back. I think I might like Krampus a little more. I might.
Because it's Christmas themed.
Gotta be a contrarian.
There's not very much. Well, there's some, but there's not a ton
there's
of Christmas horror.
monsters.
No, there is Christmas horror, but it's all the same. It's
slashers, like
slasher,
Black
killing
Christmas,
people,
like
yeah.
whatever.
But also, Michael
Krampus is so much different.
Michael likes monsters.
I do like monsters.
And that would be
And
why
Krampus
would
is a good monster. Yeah,
That's
for sure.
exactly
But there's
why you like
monsters in
Krampus.
this.
Yeah. There are
Not
monsters in this.
As many monsters as Krampus, though.
Well,
Krampus has all the weird, like,
There's
tinker
werewolves,
toys and
there's
stuff.
zombie children, there's a demonic child with a pumpkin for a head that wears a burlap sack
Okay,
around
I would
his
say
face.
then Krampus would have more of a variety of monsters.
Yes.
Seasonal
Well,
monsters.
this movie has a pretty good variety of monsters as well. This is kind of a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
They're
like them
different
both.
types of monsters.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like Krampus is the type of movie which
it's dark
I
on
watch it
Christmas?
now every, like the two Christmas horror themed movies that I watch every December now we have are
Nightmare Before
Krampus.
Christmas.
Well, Night Before Christmas I would watch, but we don't watch it every year. Krampus and Gremlins. Because Gremlins is a
And
Christmas
Bad
movie.
Santa.
Yeah, Bad Santa's great, but that's not a horror movie too. That's yearly viewing.
I mean,
for
it
sure.
Got another tie-in with Bad Santa. though.
Yeah, Trick or Treat I could potentially watch every October though. I like it a lot, so I don't know. What's your tie into Bad Santa? You say you had another tie into Bad Santa?
I mean, this movie's a tie-in to Bad Santa. Can I fix you some sandwiches?
Oh yes, of course,
Oh,
of course.
my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
same
Oh my
kid.
god, I completely forgot about
Yes. It was so
forgot
funny
about
because
that.
I said to Mike, I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I was like, Thurman Merman is in Trick or Treat?
Merman, yes, exactly. So yeah,
fix you some
we're
sandwiches?
here to talk about Trick or Treat, as you have already heard. So I guess just as we always do, overall thoughts on Trick or Treat. Where does this stand for you, Kat? I'll start with you.
So I really like it. The only criticism I'd give it is that, like, because it bounces around to 4 different stories through it, like, you kind of get lost, and you're like, wait a minute. So one
Really?
of them, well, maybe that's just my own,
what's the word, Michael?
Anthology.
Anthology.
So it's gonna bounce around a little.
But
bit.
I thought,
I'm not getting mad.
Okay, but
It's
there's
fine.
2 instances. Like, there's an instance where, can I do spoilers and talk about it?
Well, we're gonna
yet?
get to that. Just overall, what do you think of the movie?
we
Do
don't
you
need,
like
we don't
it?
need to know
Like-
why you don't like it. 'Cause
No,
that's
I'm
all
just
you
saying
wanna
there's 2
talk about.
instances that, like, I wasn't aware if it was the same story or different stories. Because
Right.
they were, like, similar looking characters. and
Well, it
they're
was
similar-
technically both.
No.
They
it
all
wasn't.
tied together.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
yes.
it's
they're-
4
they
different
all-
stories,
yes.
but they're all interconnected with the same
Right.
characters in the same town on the same night.
Right. But I thought at one point that, like, one of them was when they were, like, kids and then they got older. So
Well,
I
they
mean,
flash
that was
back
a
in
different-
time. They flash back in time
It
a little bit.
got a little
sometimes.
confusing. But anyways.
Anywho,
I thought that, like, it just made it look a little bit confusing because it kind of bounced back and forth. So
Okay.
it was, like, to keep up with it, like, once it was on a certain thing and you knew what it was, like, certain ones, like, had their own story, but that kind of got confusing. I appreciated it because I thought it was cool that there were 4 different stories in, like, one movie.
Yep.
And I get how they were all connected, but I thought it just seemed, at times, a little hard to follow.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
But
Fair enough.
overall, I liked it. I would watch it again. It's a great movie.
Okay. Fair enough.
Very seasonal.
So, absolutely seasonal. Like probably one of the most
Yes.
seasonal Halloween movies.
would go
ever.
great with a nice pumpkin spice latte.
Oh yeah, or a pumpkin beer kid, or a fucking.
Or an apple cider
Or
donut.
a
Yeah.
brownie cider
Wait,
donut
what do you
that
guys?
I'm
What do you
drinking
guys? So why don't you
right
just? Why don't you guys talk about what you're
Cider
drinking right now?
donut down east.
Oh,
They're
they are
delicious.
quite delicious.
Pretty delicious.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, we
you guys-
found them right up the street.
Did you guys see? I hate Saturday Night Live now, but did you guys see the Sam Adams beer skit with Bill Burr?
No.
It's kind of like it's like a shoot off of the Casey Affleck Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Oh, I should watch it then. I love that
where
commercial.
it's a bunch of people drinking like Sam Adams' latest pumpkin beer. and Bill Burr is just like the Casey Affleck role. It's fucking so funny. Like the same people like are in this commercial. Just doesn't have Casey Affleck. So it's actually it's very good.
Didn't Bill Burr get canceled for that?
Well, yeah, people were very very unhappy with him after his monologue on SNL. But hey, well, whatever. People are too sensitive about shit these days. But I thought it was, I don't think it was anything too terrible. But
terrible.
So for Trick or Treat, I kind of realized when I was watching it the other night that I think I'd only seen this movie like one time before, and I forgot like kind of how dark and messed up it is in certain
it's so
aspects.
Dark.
Like
well,
it's very fucking.
Sam is dark and looks so happy.
There's a scene where they drive a bus full of special needs kids off a fucking.
I thought we weren't talking
cliff.
Deep yet.
So good.
We're getting there, but like we can just mention it. I'm assuming if people are listening to this, they've seen the movie.
Well, that's the thing. I saw it like when it first came out, like forever ago.
As did I, and then
now
I just hadn't seen it in a while.
I didn't get to rewatch it.
Yeah.
So I'm a little foggy.
Okay, fair
but
enough.
I got enough stuff involved.
Of course.
But
so you kind of forget like little things that you forget when you see it the first time. Like I had seen it in a long time, and I was just like, I feel like this has become such a cult classic over the years, right? You kind of see Trick or Treat shit everywhere. You see Sam everywhere. Like we went to
Sam is kind of like a Halloween
like
symbol now.
We went into Spirit Halloween a couple weeks ago and he was fucking everywhere. There was so much Trick or Treat merchandise, and this was like it was well reviewed when it came out in 2007, but it's kind of gained a huge cult following in the 13 years that it's been out. It's 13 years old. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's really scary.
We actually even have in the background right now a quote-unquote ghoul log, which is on Shudder. Shout out to Shudder, we love you guys. And it's a Sam jack-o'-lantern, that like background noise thing that we always throw on when we record. So like Sam is everywhere. And I was like, okay, I haven't.
He doesn't look like Sam. Sam's not a pumpkin head. It's a sad.
Well, it's a jack-o'-lantern made to look like Sam. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
I
that's what they said, but. So I feel like because of that, right? Like you see Sam everywhere. I kind of thought like, maybe this has a little bit more of a family feel to it than what I actually remember, and it fucking definitely does not. It does not. It's very dark, which I like. Kind of doesn't really pull any punches. But yeah, it's a very good horror anthology. It blends some scary premises with kind of an obsession for Halloween. There's some funny elements in there, and I feel like most anthologies, you mentioned that it was kind of hard to follow. While I disagree, I understand that a lot of other horror anthologies like Creepshow or like, the Twilight Zone movie or Tales from the Dark Side, it's just 4 completely different segments that have like their own intro, like, title card, whatever. Like, so you can tell clearly that it's a different story each time.
Yeah.
I actually liked that it blended all 4 stories together. Yeah. And you can see, like, within the first, 10 seconds of the movie, it opens up with those 2... drunk people coming home from the party, and they live across the street from Brian Cox's character. And when they get home, that's when the zombie kids from the bus are walking up to his doorstep. So you can actually see them on the doorstep when they're walking home from the Halloween party.
Wow.
And then it kind of comes full circle at the end, because that's when actually he opens the door, they're all out there, and then those kids show up.
So it's almost a good movie to watch twice.
Yeah, so you definitely would pick up on some more stuff if you watched it again. Like, you'll pick up on little cues. But I actually liked, like I said, how it all tied together. It was one story without, cutting, away. You could just tell it was all in the same town, like I said, on the same night.
I feel like the overall message of this is, don't be a dick on Halloween.
Pretty much. And
actually,
obey the traditions of Halloween.
4 rules.
Oh, there's 4
What
rules.
are the rules? What
are the rules?
Do you know the rules?
What are the rules?
No. I don't. Can you enlighten us?
I can. Number 1, always hand out candy to trick-or-treaters.
Yes, that's correct.
Number 2, always wear a costume.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, never blow out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight.
Yep.
And always check your candy.
Okay. Yeah, so I feel like when you say
good.
those, I
like
definitely
I
remember
like
all of those in the movie, but I couldn't have recited them.
Those might as well be the names of each
Each segment,
segment, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Good job, Andrew.
I don't know if that's real.
Well, I liked it.
It sounded real.
We'll cut that part out.
No, we'll leave that in. That sounded real.
Good.
No, so
that could be the 4 titles for each.
Yeah.
Do we know? Do they have titles? Maybe
they do have titles.
Oh, really?
I
It's not
forget
them.
what they are. Yeah, I can look it up.
It's
But
okay.
Hey, speaking of, we were just talking about Creepshow. This kind of felt like it could have been a Creepshow type of movie because it had like the comic booky like intro and like credit sequence. Like it was very Creepshow.
Like the whole part with like the
Tales
weird,
from the Crypt
weird dad that's like keeping bodies in the backyard and he like, throws the finger
dad.
to the dog.
Yes.
So it's so weird. Just some weird shit.
All right, so here are the names of the segments. There is the opening, which is the one with Emma and her Halloween-loving husband. When he basically is like trying to get her to have sex with him upstairs, and he goes upstairs and watches porn and falls asleep drunk, and then Sam attacks the woman, cuts her head off. Second one with the principal is called Principal. Then it's called Halloween School Bus Massacre. You can obviously infer which one that is. Surprise Party is the werewolf story, and the last story is called Sam, which is Brian Cox and Sam.
I liked Sam's story.
Yeah, so actually I was going to get to that because I was going to have you guys give your favorite segment or rank segments in a little bit. But, hey, so I'm going to throw a lot of very good horror movies at you that also came out in 2007. If you've seen these, just listen to what we have for a list here because there's quite a few good ones. And then tell me where this movie would rank for you guys that year. So... 28 Weeks Later, the sequel to 28 Days Later, which we did an episode on way back.
Pass.
I actually thought 28 Weeks Later was a decent sequel. But
I also thought it was...
Also came out in
the problem
2007.
with 28 Weeks Later was not that it was a bad movie. It probably wasn't that bad. It looked so different than the first one that it just didn't make sense. Like, it needed to be the same grainy fucking type of movie. Not this over-budgeted...
Tough to follow up 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later is a classic. It's a very scary movie.
It was a letdown.
Yeah.
It may not have been a bad movie, but it was a letdown.
Another movie that came out with a number in the title that I actually enjoy, and you could have seen
30
it,
Days
Barrett's
of Night? No.
30 Days of Night. Also
that
came out in
movie.
2007. Great movie with your boy Josh Hartnett in it.
I was like, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, you probably have, because Josh Hartnett's in it.
No God.
That's a great movie. Very scary vampire movie, actually. The vampires in that look scary.
Master.
Very scary.
That guy's always a creep, too. The guy that plays the vampire in that movie. He was also in
Yes.
Edge of Darkness.
Danny Houston.
Yeah.
Danny
He's such
Houston.
a creepy-looking guy in general.
Yeah, he was in a season of American Horror Story, too. He was
that makes sense.
in the Coven season, he was like the trumpet, or like the saxophone guy, the serial killer from New Orleans.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
And he's the vampire in 30 Days a Night.
Yes.
Yes. You don't know who I'm talking about, do you?
I do. With the top hat. That guy?
In American Horror Story, yes,
Yes.
but not in not in 30
Mr.
Days a
Peanut?
Night. Mr. Peanut?
No, it wasn't Mr. Peanut.
Did he have a
It was-
cane?
Hey, guys.
Oh,
All
oh.
I could think of was that Seinfeld reference.
Yes.
What are you, Mr. Peanut? So good.
Hey, so another movie with a number in a title. Rather, the number is the entire title. This is a movie I saw in theaters. Because I'm a nerd. 1408, which is a Stephen King adaptation with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson.
Not a bad movie.
Not a great movie, but not a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie. Mm-hmm. It's John Cusack.
Yeah. John Cusack doing his John Cusack thing, and Sam Jackson doing his Sam Jackson thing, man. You know, hey.
It's not
I
bad.
hope I saw it.
I'm glad I didn't see it in
decent.
theaters.
Yeah, it's like a. So the premise is it's a guy that is a true like a paranormal writer, like almost like a true. So he writes about like ghost stories and stuff, but he's a fraud. He doesn't believe in any of it. He makes all his shit up, and he actually goes and stays in this haunted hotel room. And it's his story. It was one of his short stories, and it's basically what happens to him when he goes into this hotel room. 1408.
Oh, okay. I've read about that before.
Yeah. Dead Silence also came out in 2007. Did you guys see that? It's the one with the puppets, the ventriloquist dummies.
No.
It was a James
I
Wan
don't think
movie.
so, yeah.
Decent, not terrible.
Okay.
Grindhouse, which was the Quentin Tarantino double feature with Death Proof and what was the other one? Planet Terror was the other one.
I have no idea what that is.
I saw it once, liked it.
It's comic book style movie.
Yeah, it's a throwback to like the Grindhouse films.
Yeah.
That's why it's titled that. So.
Oh, that makes sense.
Also, another movie I saw in theaters, the Halloween remake directed by Rob Zombie.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I like
Did
that
you see
movie.
that?
I don't know. I don't think I maybe did.
It's very
maybe a long,
different.
That came
long
out
time
And it's
ago.
2007.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I would
God, I
remember.
feel
I feel
old
old,
as
right?
fuck.
I saw it
So
in
long
theaters. Yeah.
I don't know if I might have seen it in third. I don't remember.
It's a very different. Like you got to give Rob Zombie credit. He has his own style and he executes it. And he did a very different take on Halloween. That was Halloween's a fucked up movie.
we should watch it before.
This was
Halloween.
much more fucked up and dark and just like everything is in the Rob Zombie like language, like just over the top, like graphic, gory,
Is it
and
on
disgusting.
Shudder?
Like, I don't think it is, but I can check to
Oh, I
see
can
if it's
look
on
it up.
any streaming
Let me look it
services.
up.
But yeah, so the Zombie Halloween, the first one, came out in 2007 as well. Hostel Part 2, which was okay.
Yeah, Hostel 1 was way better. I saw
Yeah.
Hostel 2. I
Yeah.
do remember that. Because
Yeah,
I remember
Hostel I
watching
saw
it
in
again.
theaters. I
But...
saw a lot of movies in theaters in
Do you
2007.
remember? Wait.
Saw
time
Hostel.
out. Did Katja say she remembered seeing a movie?
She did.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do like
Holy
Hostel.
shit. No,
Yeah.
you remember seeing a lot of movies. It's just the ones you like. But you liked Hostel too?
Right. No, I remember seeing Hostel
Yeah,
too.
that is a good point. If you
Dunkin' is here to keep you running with a much needed taste of normal. To work, home, or work from home. With the coffee you like, just the way you like it. Whether that's a small hot black coffee, your daily 2 p.m. latte, or a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant and a medium iced coffee with oat milk, 1 sugar, 2 pumps of caramel, 1 pump hazelnut, a swirl of French vanilla, and a shot of espresso.
I call it my PM pep rally. You should really try it.
Whatever it is that gets you running, Dunkin's got you and always will. America runs on Dunkin'.
In business, things move quickly. You have to be ready to shift, pivot, adapt, then do it all over again. Comcast Business gives you fast, reliable internet on the nation's largest gig speed network. And now, ask how to get fast shipping with Amazon Business Prime Essentials. Whoa, that was fast. So no matter what comes next, you can do more than bounce back. You can bounce forward. Offer ends 11/15/20. Restrictions apply. Requires qualifying Comcast Business service. New Amazon Business Prime Essential members only.
If you don't have interest in a movie, you forget it like immediately.
Yeah, so why do you know
Immediately,
that movie? But no, but you know it. So
I
you
liked
liked
Hostel.
it too.
No, the first one.
You just
I'm pretty
specifically
sure I remember
mentioned Hostel 2.
You
because
said
I
you didn't like Hostel
because
2.
I've liked Hostel 1 so much. Like, I remember which Saw movies I've seen because I think I've only watched up to 4.
Okay, funny you mentioned that. Saw 4 also came out this year.
Yes.
Didn't see it. I saw the
Nothing
first
beats
two, that's it.
the first
I might have
Saw.
honestly. I could not tell you anything
I think I
about
own
probably
Saw
anything
4.
that happened after Saw 2. The first 2 I remember. I couldn't tell you anything.
My guess
about
is somebody
the other
cuts
sequels.
something off of their body
Yeah.
at some point.
One
in
of
the
the
movie
things
with
that
a
I
saw.
mentioned
gross
in the
graphic
draft
torture
was-
device that like
I think it was a Saw 4 where Donnie Wahlberg dies and he gets ice picked by the big giant ice things when he
Oh, that's a
slips off.
fucking disgusting
head
death.
smashed.
I
I'm sorry,
remember that.
But I'm glad I didn't see it because you said Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah, he's terrible.
So
Wait,
glad
did I
I...
say Donald?
You might expect us
No,
to
no,
stick
no.
up for
Donnie
the Wahlbergs
Wahlberg
because we're from Massachusetts. Fuck them. They
Terrible.
suck.
Why would I want to see anything with him in it? That was my
Because he's
point.
in the Saw movies.
He is. Yeah, he's in Saw 2.
No, I know. I'm saying, dude.
I don't watch it for him. I watch it because I
No.
like the Saw movies.
I'm saying I'm
like,
glad
I'm
I
not
didn't see it
watching
because he's in it. If
Wahlburgers.
he's in that movie, it's a terrible movie. Because if you have to have Donnie Wahlberg
I
in
like
the
him.
movie,
He's good in it.
I like him too. He's great in that Dunkin' Donuts
He's-
commercial. Or,
Fantastic.
New
Anyways.
Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick.
You want to keep singing LFO, or are we moving on?
No, so another movie that came out in 2007 that I also saw in theaters and smelled was I Am Legend with Will Smith. That movie
should have been better.
stinks out loud.
I don't
As
think I've
I
ever
was a
even seen that
huge
movie.
fan of the original book. I fucking love Richard Matheson. He wrote a bunch of Twilight Zone episodes. I Am Legend is an awesome, awesome, awesome short story, and they fucking cut the fucking balls off of it and turned it into a fucking Will Smith action movie. When if somebody did a goddamn good adaptation of the movie, it would be fucking very scary.
What would it be?
It would be much more.
Just tell us. You know.
The monsters in that movie are supposed to be vampires, but they're like these weird, pale, like weird looking things. They made them look all stupid.
They don't tell you what they are.
Yeah, so basically, like, there's a subplot, like, in the book, it's super weird, like, where the guy, the last man on Earth, so it's like a zombie vampire type thing. So, and his wife died, and she turns into one, and she continually shows up at his house every night and knocks on his door the entire night to try and get, like, seduce him to come over to, like, the vampire zombie side. It's a fucking bizarre, very scary story, and I feel like they just ruined it with the movie.
What was that movie? It had Ethan Hawke in it too. It was another vampire movie. Sam Neill was in it.
Daybreakers or Daywalkers. or something.
Daybreakers.
Yeah.
That was the same type of thing. That's actually not a bad movie. I feel like it should have been so much better.
Daybreakers was a TV series I watched recently with the zombies.
Oh,
No, but this isn't zombies. They're
It was in-
vampires, and it's vampires.
yeah, I
It's
know.
they're like vampires.
It's
and
an
they're
Ethan Hawke vampire
harvesting
movie.
humans for blood,
Yeah, yeah,
basically,
of
and
course,
they're in
yeah.
charge, and they're like, it's pretty weird.
Andrew, another great movie that came out in 2007, The Mist.
Oh
my
Oh,
God!
did I see that?
This
Is
movie.
that a series? No.
That's
It was also a series on
Okay.
Spike, yes.
All right.
But the
I was
movie is phenomenal. Oh my God, is
man.
it good? It's
Mike, you just dated yourself. You just said it was a TV series on Spike.
yeah.
Spike's
Spike is now the Paramount
you have to
Network.
look.
First off, if
Yeah.
you mention a channel from cable, you've dated yourself.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true. But oh my God, I loved the Stephen King short story, and this is a great adaptation with one of the all-time fucked up dark endings of a horror
and that
movie.
wasn't in the book, right?
It was not.
So they changed it.
It was not.
That's so much better.
Yes, I like the ending of that better. Yeah, Frank Darabont directed that.
I feel like
who
we've talked about
did the
this
first season of
before.
Walking Dead, and yeah, we definitely talked about The Mist before.
On
but
here, or
phenomenal movie, dude. Another. So The Mist I saw in theaters. I Am Legend, dude. I saw like all these movies in theaters. The first Paranormal Activity, phenomenal scary movie, awesome. One of the true greats of the found footage horror genre. Came out in 2007, dude. I saw it in fucking theaters. Love it. Love the first Paranormal
So
Activity.
the first one's great.
First one's great. I don't think I've seen any of the sequels.
All downhill.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Because you know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Something
Like,
in
you
the
know what
corner's
to
gotta
expect
move.
at that point. We already mentioned Saw 4 and the last one, which
How
you may
could
or
we
may not have
forget?
seen, the Poughkeepsie tapes. Did you ever see that?
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Sounds
What is
familiar.
It's another found footage, like, mockumentary type thing about this serial killer in Poughkeepsie, New York. That is
Okay.
kind of like a cult classic, cult following type
Cool.
thing. Yeah. Also came out in 2007. So,
Wow.
dude, like, I feel like that's a year we haven't really talked about yet. I don't think we've done a 2007 movie other than this one. And when I saw that list of movies, I was like, wow, there's some fucking really good ones in
Gems.
there. Because, like, I feel like a lot of the times when we do that, there's, like, barely fucking anything. But this was a pretty good one. Yeah. So back to Trick or Treat. Oh, I was going to say, so, is Trick or Treat compared to some of those movies for you? Like, I think The Mist is far and away number one for me.
Oh, there's so many in there.
The Mist is great.
You name too many, now I forget all of them.
Yeah.
I know.
What was
The
one
Mist,
be-
Paranormal
what was
Activity.
before The Mist?
I Am Legend, Hostel Part 2, Zombie Halloween remake, Grindhouse, Dead Silence, 1408, 30 Days a Night, 28 Weeks Later.
30 Days a Night. This might not even be in the top 3 then.
I like The Mist and
The Mist,
Paranormal Activity
30
better
Days
than
a
this
Night.
movie. I'd probably say this is 3 for me, with probably The Mist being 1, Paranormal Activity 2.
I haven't seen enough to vote.
Yeah. Just, you don't have
Just
to,
quick
I don't need
thought.
this like a serious answer. I'm just
saying
throwing it out
it's-
there for discussion.
It's borderline top 3, which isn't bad because it's a good year. So, no
Yeah,
besmirching
that's
here.
not a slight. That's not a slight. So,
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
nice. Yeah.
So Trick or Treat, you guys, was based on a 2006 animated short that was created and directed by Michael Dougherty, who obviously did Trick or Treat
So,
and Krampus, as we mentioned.
So,
Mike and I watched that.
Yes.
Mike and Ike.
After we
I
watched
know
the
you
movie.
didn't watch that. We should have watched that.
That should be
We-
your
we
new
should have watched that
nickname.
before.
Mike and Ike.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mike and Ike.
Because you
Mike
just
and
said
Ike.
Mike and I. That sounds like Mike and Ike.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We watched that last night, maybe the night before, whatever.
Yeah. It's called Season's Greetings. You can get it on YouTube. It's like 3.5 minutes long.
Yes, it's very short, and he's like, "Oh, this is what Trick or Treat was based off of," and I was like, I watched it, and I was like, "Well, kinda," but like, it didn't really.
It has Sam. It has Sam in it, and he's being
Sam,
stalked
but
by like
Sam's not
a
even,
stranger. And
I mean, it was. You kind of get it.
I mean, I think
It's
Michael Dougherty was probably
fine.
like 18 when he made it, so
Right.
it's like a little.
Sure.
It's definitely you can see like where the influences for Trick or Treat came
Sure.
from. So
Yes.
that's
Well, it was 97, right? That was when
it
the
was in 2006.
No, but
Oh,
the
actually,
short
no.
was in 97.
I will say,
he made
though-
an original short, Trick or Treat. It was
So
like
I have
2
here
minutes.
that the short came out in 2006, which would have been a year before the movie was out.
Something
That
came out in
seems like it's
97.
wrong. It probably came out earlier than that. You're
I
probably right.
will
Maybe I have my
say that-
facts mixed up.
I really appreciated his illustration in it, though. It was awesome.
It was good. Yeah, it was very good
Yeah.
artwork. And the concept of Sam as a character is very good. It's like a
Yes.
well-designed
Right.
character. It's very cool.
Right.
But so this movie actually had a bunch of title changes before filming began. So the short was called Season Greetings. It was originally going to be called Season's Greetings. It was changed because people thought it sounded more like a Christmas film, and then it was called Halloween Terrors for a
yeah.
while. It was called Jack-o'-lantern Tales, October the 31st, and then finally Trick or Treat.
But Season's
Yeah.
Greetings has always been Thanksgiving
Christmas.
and no, like Thanksgiving time.
Yeah, that's a
See,
Christmas
yeah.
time thing. Yeah,
But Season's Greetings No one's going to think of it with Halloween, as
No.
they should, though, because that is when the seasons begin.
Yeah.
Seasons have already begun.
Right.
True. That's true.
Fuck Christmas.
So what was the year? Sorry, for season
1996.
96. Okay, so it was like 11 years before the movie came
Wow,
out. You were right.
yeah.
I knew it had to have been. When I saw that on there, I
It would
must
have
have
had
wrote it
time
down
to
wrong.
marinate
Whatever.
since then.
Yeah,
to
for
make
sure.
So how old was
yeah.
he?
I don't know. That's a
Young.
good question. We'll probably
15?
figure that out. He's probably young. Probably young.
I can't do that math.
I think he was like a kid that probably grew up in the
Andrew's good with
80s.
I'll
Yeah.
get the math done.
Let's go.
Real quick. It was 96, right?
So obviously we were talking about Sam a little bit. So Sam obviously is derived from Samhain, the ancient Celtic festival of the dead,
Which is who
from
the
which
girl,
modern day Halloween is derived.
and that's what the girl, the nerdy girl, talks about.
Samhain, yeah, exactly.
In the
Yes,
movie.
yes.
Which I thought she grew up to be Anna Paquin.
No.
Like
No.
that's what I got really confused at. I was like, wait, because she's like some nerdy girl, and then this other girl in another story is like another nerdy girl, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, is that supposed to?
I
be
can
her when
I can
she
see where you'd make that
grows up?
connection. Yeah, I can see where you'd make
So
that
that's why
connection.
I asked you. I was like, so is that like the same story, like
Yeah.
a flash forward? And you're like, no,
No,
it's a totally
different
story. And I was
stories.
like,
Yeah.
it just kind of read too similarly.
So Samhain is in Gaelic, of course, which has all kinds of weird pronunciations that even I, as an Irish person, do not understand all the pronunciations. Sometimes I feel like I need to research them. But Samhain is actually spelled Samhain, which is where Sam comes.
Not to be confused with Saruman.
Exact Saruman.
Michael Daugherty was 22 when he wrote Seasons.
Yep.
Do you know what that means? That name?
Samhain?
Yeah. What does it mean?
I don't know. I don't have it on here.
I don't know if you
It means
researched
one who saws.
Yeah, probably.
No, it's not.
So basically, despite the fact that like Sam is actually portrayed as a physical character in this movie, Samhain is actually not a deity or any other personage of ancient Celtic polytheism. It is only the name of the celebration itself. Wow, that was a tough sentence to say. Holy fucking
My
shit.
brain is
Wait,
mangled
so-
just hearing that sentence.
So Samhain is merged as like it means Halloween. That's what you said earlier, right? Also known as Samhain.
Yeah, well, it's so Halloween is based on Samhain,
All
which is
Saints,
the
All
old like
Souls.
so. Here's what it
Oh,
is.
so there's a thing?
Ancient Celtic festival of the dead from which modern-day Halloween is derived. Despite having been portrayed as such in this film and several other works, Samhain is actually not a deity or other personage of ancient Celtic polytheism. It is only the name of the celebration.
It says it's
So it's basically
Gaelic
Samhain is not
Halloween.
like a figure, it is a celebration of the holiday of Halloween,
They
which
said
is what
it's-
Halloween
Can I
Yeah.
has
see
become.
that? And time out. Mm-hmm. You're telling me Halloween is from the Celtic? Mm-hmm. I thought that was...
Us Irish invented Halloween,
I thought
baby. Irish and Scottish.
I thought it was Day of the Dead. I thought it was like
Yeah, it
No.
Mexican
is.
thing.
Well, Mexican
Nope.
influence is Dia de los Muertos,
Nope.
which is Day of the Dead.
No. Nope.
So it's not.
It's,
It's
it's
different.
Celtic.
Celtic.
It's a Celtic.
That's where
It's a
Halloween
Celtic pagan
originated.
thing. Yes. If you Google the origins of Halloween, that's what's going to come up. No doubt. No doot about it.
Wow.
So Trick or Treat is actually, for the
Oh,
horror,
it says pagan.
for
Yeah.
the horror
I
fan,
believed him.
for the resident horror fan, Trick or Treat has a ton of horror movie Easter eggs. Okay, probably the biggest one is Brian Cox's character in this movie. He actually wore makeup and prosthetics to make himself look like John Carpenter, the director of Halloween and The Thing. So if you know what John Carpenter looks like, I didn't pick up on that watching it, but when I was reading about it afterwards, I was like, you know what, I can totally fucking see that, because he was definitely wearing some sort of makeup and weird shit. In
Well,
his
what's
face.
funny was I was watching it and I was like, I think that's Brian. I'm like, is that the guy from Super Troopers? Fucking Brian Cox.
Yeah.
And I was like, but no, they did a good job with the prosthetics.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you say it, if you've ever seen Body Bags,
Yep.
I think we've talked about this before.
We probably have, yeah.
Because
Speak
John
up, Buttercup.
Carpenter's in that.
Yes. Okay, that's one of those anthology
Yeah,
movies,
and it's
right? Yeah,
John
yeah.
Carpenter plays the guy at the
Yeah.
beginning, like the fucking creep
So
guy.
more on Carpenter. So Brian Cox plays a character named Mr. Krieg in this. And in the movie, when Sam's hand starts crawling across the floor after he's thought he killed Sam, he says, "You got to be fucking kidding me," which is a direct call back to The Thing, direct line from that, which they also quoted in It Chapter 2. Billy, which is the child that's the principal's son, played by Dylan Baker. He's dressed similar to Chucky in this from Child's Play. So he's wearing overalls, a long striped long sleeve shirt. He has red hair. Anna Paquin's character is named Laurie. after Laurie Strode from the original Halloween movie. The werewolf transformation by the campfires, a nod to The Howling. Yeah, and then, of course, I kind of mentioned this before, but again, shout out to our very first episode, which was Krampus. Michael Dougherty has confirmed that Trick or Treat and Krampus both take place in a shared universe with, the same characters existing. He basically said this on the Krampus DVD commentary, and I quote, "There are some loose threads to Trick or Treat that hint at it potentially taking place in the same universe, but unfortunately, some of the more direct nods to Trick or Treat ended up on the cutting room floor." And basically, there's a deleted scene in Krampus where one of the kids, pulls out his Halloween stash of candy, and it's all the same brands of candy as are in Trick or Treat, because they wanted to basically use Hershey's, Reese's, whatever the fuck else, and they couldn't get the rights to use those candies in Trick or Treat. So they had to come up with some fake candy names.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I would love to live in a world where Krampus and Trick or Treat take place in the same universe, where Sam and Krampus are out stalking people on Halloween and Christmas. I think that's a fucking awesome concept.
You would want to live in that universe?
Yes, of course.
It's terrifying.
Because anyone that does not take Halloween seriously should get their head cut off by Sam, just like in this movie.
Yeah, but what if you take a year off?
I don't know. I mean, I guess
you die.
Hey, maybe Sam gives some forgiveness when he's doling out his punishment.
Doesn't look like the type that would give.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. All right, so that means we are on to our categories now, guys, which I changed up a little bit for this segment of the show, for this particular movie, since it's an anthology. There's lots of different segments, lots to dissect. Safe to say this isn't a very scary movie. It's kind of a more fun Halloween movie.
It's kind of scary, because I think that, you think of your neighbors. Like, if you were in a setting where, the principal was giving away, poisonous candy and killing people in his backyard, that's scary. How is that not scary? I mean, the whole thing with the Trick or Treat with Sam, I mean, that's not really scary.
I guess, did you find this movie to be scary when you were watching it?
The one segment I thought would be scary was when the principal gave out Halloween candy that was poisonous. That's the one scary thing that, you're thinking of when you go trick-or-treating, and, people say, check your candy, and, you're like, okay, I'm gonna check my candy, but, check it for what? Razor blades? I mean...
So that's funny to me, because I actually thought that was arguably the most, comedic segment of the entire anthology. It was definitely...
I think that's scary, though. It's a real-life thing that could happen.
It is, but, I mean, I feel I feel like that's always one of the urban legends that's been associated with Halloween is, people putting razor blades in candy. That's one of those things that you heard from your parents that was probably never actually true.
They still have that on the news.
It does happen.
It does
I'm sure it does happen from time to time, but it's not like it's prevalent anywhere,
No, it is. It happens.
If it happens once, that's prevalent.
That's too much. Yeah, I agree. But, yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely a dark movie. It's definitely, it doesn't shy away from some dark subject matter.
Right, of course.
Especially the storyline with the kids on the school bus.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, okay, so the parents just... apparently, eight groups of parents decided that they were collectively done with their special needs children and hired somebody to drive them off a cliff. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's insane.
That was so fucked. And, they're all, chained to the chairs with... the seats, excuse me, in the bus, with the masks on.
Yeah.
That was really fucked up. And they looked creepy because of all the masks they were wearing. And some of them were very creepy.
Might that be the most fucked up thing in...
It very well could
be up there.
Yeah.
And beyond food for thought here, one thing that I kind of saw it, I didn't know if I was able to verify it, but so I don't know if it's a fact, but the theory out there is that the children, they're all wearing sheets and masks, right?
Right.
That's a callback to It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, when they're all wearing their costumes with
when
the
they're
sheets and the
parading
masks.
down the field too in single line.
Yes. Do you guys have a favorite segment of the four in this movie? Kat, I'll start with you.
Ooh, I like the Sam segment. Just because he's such, the icon of the movie, and you wonder what his story is the entire time, and you don't really expect it because his is one of the last ones that are talked about, right?
It's the last one, with him and Mr. Krieg, Brian Cox. Yeah.
And I like how his story, incorporates elements of Halloween with it, so it's there's jack-o'-lanterns all on the front lawn when, like, he opens the door, and then, like, there's candy and glass all down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he throws in little, like, tidbits of Halloween in there of, like, his mischief.
Yeah.
And
I love how you
cool.
see Sam, like, throughout every segment, too. He's in there, like
Yes.
either watching everything that's going on, or
He's
just,
kind
like,
of like Santa. He's
like
Santa
omnipresent,
Halloween.
or Krampus, or
Oh,
even
Krampus.
Krampus.
That's the best thing about him is you think underneath that mask is this cute little kid.
Yeah.
This the complete opposite of that. It's this scary monster, pumpkin head looking thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually, so I think the Sam segment is also probably the best one. But I also
Brian
I like
Cox
the one
shoots him and just pumpkin seeds shoot
yeah,
out. That's
awesome.
so good.
Great. And then I also love the one with the werewolves too, because I love werewolf stuff, and I thought that was a very clever. Like the first time I saw that, I wasn't expecting that. So
You sure it wasn't the Yabos?
the Yabos were nice. There were definitely some nice Yabs in there. But yeah, I just like werewolf stuff. So that was a cool twist on like the Little Red Riding Hood, like fairy tale.
It was
cute,
more like
yeah.
the
Yeah.
big-breasted werewolf.
Yeah, and like,
Right.
I liked how too, like the guy with the cloak on that ended up being the principal.
Yep.
Like you thought it was like going to be a vampire story, and then it ended up turning into a werewolf
That
story.
also
That was pretty cool.
kind of looked like a Batman mask.
A little bit, yeah. Kind of looked like Batman
how is that
cosplaying
guy,
a
like-
vampire, pretty much.
How is he in all those
Yeah.
places in one night?
I don't know. Well, he said so. Actually, he does say to his son. He says, like, the son says, "Can we do whatever? It's we watch a scary movie or something." He says, "I have a date later," which is when
I
he.
feel like he's the type of
okay.
guy that Bruce Willis from Unbreakable should hunt down.
Yeah, probably.
That's like who he should be going
Yeah,
after.
for sure. One thing that I found interesting, too, that I was reading about this is, so the 4 segments in this movie kind of represent your experience with Halloween as you grow older, right? So there's obviously, like, there's the segment with Billy, the kid with his serial killer dad, where he kills Thurman Merman. That's, like, as a child,
So always wear a
carving
costume.
jack-o'-lanterns and, always wear a costume and that type of thing. And
Oh
then
yeah,
after
because
that...
Thurman Merman didn't have a costume on. His
That's correct.
shirt said like,
Yep.
"This is my costume."
And then the
He was one of
second,
those kids.
like, so basically, as you aren't a child anymore, but you're kind of like in your early teens, that's the one with the zombie school bus kids, like basically going out trick or treating in costumes.
Right, and then being kind of old. So
Yep, the
doing
one
anything
after that
else.
is when you're actually like in your late teens or early 20s, and you want to go out, and Halloween's all about just trying to
we went to that block
bang
party.
somebody in a sexy costume. I was actually, so I'm so glad you brought that up, but before I do, then the final one was obviously like an old person dealing with Halloween. So it was almost like kind of like the Mr. Scrooge of Halloween with Brian Cox and Mr. Krieg. But I meant to write down, I'm so glad you reminded me of it, but that Halloween block party
It
in the
reminded
movie
me of
looked
that.
like it was going to be it would be so much fucking fun to go to. And we went to one like that with your friend James, our buddy James,
Lauren.
who hopefully will be on the show someday.
Yeah.
That was a fucking awesome time, and we actually got some pretty
Yes.
good recognition for our costumes that night. You want to talk about that a little bit?
So Mike and I went as we were really into The Walking Dead. So at that point, we were watching it religiously on Sundays, and even to the point where we were making like Walking Dead meat dinners. So on Sundays, we'd make like
I think
a
you've
rack
mentioned
of
this on the show
lamb or,
before.
like,
Yeah, something on a
chicken
bone.
wings, something on a bone that you could gnaw on like while you're
Nothing like gnarly
watching
on a bone, huh?
zombies. I know it's so messed up, but it was pretty fun. It was like our meat.
Never claimed to not be a demented individual. for
Walking
sure.
Dead meat dinners.
Yeah.
Shano, when I lived in Weymouth, he participated in those too.
Yeah, of course.
Was his name Shano?
No, Shano.
Sean O'Laughlin.
He's
what you
actually
said.
a fan of our podcast.
Good
So
to hear.
yeah, so shout out to Shano.
Yeah, he actually might be on someday too.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic, David.
He does his own podcast actually too. He does the You're Not Listening podcast, which is about music. He's retweeted our show a bunch of times, so I feel like I have to give Shano a plug. His show's actually really good. I listened to a few episodes recently. And he also does one called Aquademia, I believe. Any complaints about the cast here, you guys? Anybody that you would want to replace?
No, I thought they.
Yeah, I thought
I
everyone was
think they
pretty
cast
good.
it very well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought so too. I feel like everyone was pretty good in their parts that they were in.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid.
I had no complaints here. Like, there wasn't anyone that immediately jumped out to me when I
No.
was looking at that particular
And Brian Cox
category.
deserves a applaud.
Oh, of course, he's great.
He's
in,
awesome
in everything that he's in. So, guys, I normally ask you about what the best death in a particular movie is.
Ooh.
Unique thing about Trick or Treat: every single death in the movie occurs off camera. which is kind of odd for an R-rated horror movie, don't you think?
Like, to actually see them dying. But you see
Correct.
the body
You see the after effects.
Right, exactly.
But you don't actually see anyone being killed on camera.
Correct.
So can there actually be a best death? I don't know.
Could you say best body
I'll give you the best
post-death?
death. Mm-hmm. It's the 8 kids being driven off in the bus.
Yeah.
That's clearly
so
the best. Like,
fucked.
that's what makes that movie so fucked.
So fucked.
I actually liked the death in the first scene with the lady who wanted to take down all the Halloween decorations.
Seriously.
The night of.
Oh, yeah, and she
Yeah.
got
And
the
then she gets,
jack-o'-lantern lollipop.
she
Get
gets-
the lollipop
yeah.
shoved in her mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And her head
that
cut
was
off.
pretty.
That's what you get for trying to ruin Halloween and take Halloween shit down earlier.
Yeah,
Asshole.
she got ripped.
Yeah, she fucking got that mouth ripped open, son.
She got that mouth jack. O-lanterns.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
nice
she
one.
did.
Good one.
So we also usually talk about haunted attractions and if they would relate to a particular movie. So I ask you in a word, yes or no, do you think Trick or Treat would translate well to a haunted attraction?
Yes, absolutely.
Andrew?
Yes.
Okay.
If you had a bunch of Sams
I bet
running
it
around
has
a
been
building,
one.
that would be scary
answered,
enough.
and you guessed correctly, sir. Because, of course, like a number of the movies that we've talked about, it has been adapted into a live experience 2 times at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, 1 time in Hollywood. It was actually first featured as an outdoor scare zone at Halloween Horror Nights 27 in Orlando, where it was featured alongside other properties.
We went to 25, right?
We went to 21 and 22. This was after us.
Wow, that's way after
Yeah,
us.
way after us.
And that was in 2000, when?
So 27 was 3 years ago, which was 2017.
Okay.
What year precedes 2000 when? Just curious. Is it 2000 who? 2000 what?
Or 2000 how?
2000 who? 2000 what, why, when, where?
Sorry, I'm just curious.
How? But yeah, so
2000 what?
so
2000 what?
at HHN 27, it was featured alongside other properties, including American Horror Story, The Shining, Saw, and Ash vs. Evil Dead. And actually, so the outdoor scare zone did so well at Halloween Horror Nights 27 that they decided to turn it into its own haunted house the following year. At HHN 28, how about that, the next year? It was featured at that event alongside haunted houses based on Stranger Things, Poltergeist, Halloween 4, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Michael, did we go to that together?
We sure
What year
did.
was that?
You didn't post my picture.
2028?
2028.
Was it the year before what was when? And who was there?
2000 when?
How was where?
Oh, yeah, dude, you never sent me that. Why didn't you send me that? I would have posted it.
Okay.
Oh.
Take a picture of it and send it to me. I'll post it.
Okay, I'll take a picture.
Yeah,
Is it of your
I'll
hair?
post it.
No.
Oh, you're playing.
I know, I know, it's a
My
tick.
hair.
So I guess, of course,
I
the
know.
answer to whether or not this would make a good haunted attraction is that it already has.
It's a
and
resounding.
It's a
two
resounding
thumbs
2 thumbs
way up.
And
It's been a while since we heard that too.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
this is a pretty simple
creep of
answer
the week?
here. But
Yeah.
if you had to
I'm way
pick
behind.
a
it's
creep,
like 30.
either a creep of the
Yeah.
week or the MVP of Trick or Treat, who is it, Andrew?
Sam.
That's got to be Sam, right?
Oh,
I mean, is there
Sam,
another answer?
Hands down.
Yeah,
No, Sam
I feel
the
like
MVP.
we all agree here.
For somebody that's seen this movie 6 times, it's definitely Sam.
It's Sam. It's Sam for sure. Final question before we kind of wrap up and sail off into the sunset here. Do you feel this
Sail
movie
away.
is deserving of a sequel?
Well, it wouldn't be really a sequel as much as it would be same guy, same concept, 3 different stories, a new anthology.
Well,
or
they'd be
something.
Sam.
Yeah,
They'd probably
Similar,
bring back
same
some other
universe.
characters.
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome as a sequel.
I agree. I feel like this is the type of thing where you could do a
a
sequel.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Anthologies are so easy to make a sequel because it's just different
I
stories.
just explained why.
Yeah.
You could easily make a
'Cause I'm a
sequel, and it would be
genius. Yeah.
just as good,
Yeah.
if not better.
Well, the good news is because this has become such a cult classic, there is talk of a sequel being put into production. It hasn't happened
It
yet.
only took 13 years.
I know. So apparently Michael Dougherty went on record in 2019 was the most recent time he did about the status of a sequel, and he said, and I quote, "Listen, I'm intrigued by the idea, and it's completely up to Legendary, who's the production company. It's been a few years since we initially talked about it, and there's been a regime change since then. They still have the property, and they love it, and there's still a long line of merchandise and a continuing line of comic books based in the film, but the ball is in their court. So it certainly sounds like Michael Dougherty is open to making a sequel, and it's pretty much up to the studio at this point. I mean, dude, they added this Sam Gulag Trick or Treat thing to Shudder this year. Like, there's so much interest in Trick or Treat. How could they not make a sequel to this when everything gets sequelized these days?
Yeah. And you wouldn't even have to.
Do you know how much money? Well, I think they're probably a little nervous about the current landscape of movies in general.
Yeah.
No one's going to theaters. You can't go. There's nobody there. Stephen King
So
tweeted
your
about it the
production
other day.
costs are cut in half.
He said He said it was the saddest thing he ever saw. He said social
I did actually hear about
wasn't an
that.
issue.
Yeah.
He said there was more people than there were. There was more people there than there were movies playing. There were 7 people and there were 6 showings.
So do you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
That's
Streaming
messed up.
things are going to go way up.
Yeah.
Costs of streaming things are going to go way up if movie theaters.
Well, I
are
think,
there.
unfortunately, you're kind of seeing the beginning of it, right? Like, look at what Disney Plus did with Mulan. Okay, so you subscribe to Disney, and I hate this idea and model, but okay, so you already pay $5 a month or whatever it is for Disney Plus. If you want an exclusive release, you have to pay $30 on top of that monthly subscription fee to see this movie. That's a lot of fucking dough. Which, if you think about it, though, so if you have a family of 4 or a family of 3 or whatever, and you take your family to the movies, you're going to spend probably over $30. So it's really not that bad.
But also, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're taking advantage of the fact that I'm more likely to do this, which is good business. Can't get me wrong there. But $30 for something that was like 2 minutes
you know what, though?
effort.
You know what, though? It's almost as if you pay to watch a UFC fight.
Well, actually, if they're producing the movie...
Yeah,
I mean, if you put it like
they're
that...
producing the
like,
first off,
like,
can we not lump me into that group of people?
no, I paid to see a UFC fight.
I would never pay to watch a
You have, like,
UFC
4 or
fight.
5
Nothing
people
against
over and
anybody.
Just go to Buffalo Wild Wings. They have the fight for free.
Homophobic.
But look at like so Disney Plus does that, but like Netflix, for example, like they released The Irishman last holiday season,
and it cost you
that was
nothing
also
extra.
in theaters, and it was nothing extra. It was just on Netflix after.
People-
so they basically it was
people
after a certain date. So it was released in theaters first, then it was moved
I don't
to
give a shit.
Netflix.
First
But
off,
it's a
people
Netflix
love
movie.
to talk shit about Netflix.
Yeah,
Dude,
Netflix is the
Netflix
fucking
is
best.
great.
You have
like
to have it.
$12 a month, if that. What is it, $9 a month?
Any final thoughts on Trick or Treat you guys, before we wrap it up for the evening? Andrew, I'll start with you.
Probably the... I don't know.
Cat's final thoughts going to be, I like it, I'd recommend watching it.
Probably the best...
You asked Andrew first. So.
Probably the best horror-themed... No, Halloween-themed horror movie in the last... Well, it came out in 2007, so since probably Halloween.
Since 2007.
Wow.
Season 3.
So you love
Not
this movie.
Season 3. Halloween 3.
You hold this in high
Season of the
regard.
Witch.
Season of the Witch. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Fair
But
enough.
see, that's similar
High
style.
praise. High praise. Yeah, it is similar style. Lots of masks in that. Lots of weird Halloween-themed shit.
Borderline anthology.
Agreed.
This
Yeah.
Halloween Season of the Witch.
I know you wanted to do Season of the Witch this October season countdown, but we
it's
unfortunately
not
will not
going
get to it. So we will
Next year.
do that. We will do that next
Episode
October.
84.
Absolutely, that would be great.
Well, that math isn't right, but close enough.
Kat, anything else on Trick or Treat other than you like it and you'd recommend watching it?
I like it. I like Sam because Sam's a cutie, but he's a badass at the same time. And
So should Sam slide into your DMs, say hello?
oh my god! If I got like a cameo from Sam, that'd
Have
be
you
so funny.
seen Sam without his mask on?
I know,
though?
be a little bit tough.
Sam with the mask on is great. Without the mask is like.
I love making out with pumpkins too. So
No, I think that Sam's costume
and
is
a
very
zipper
cute.
mouth.
I think he's just a cute little scarecrow guy.
Okay, fair enough.
Well,
So you like
alien guy.
cute little scarecrow.
Demon.
I'm not-
He's a demon.
Oh,
He's a demon.
Okay.
When you've already lost, just
I'm not saying he's handsome. I'm saying he's cute. He's a cute little kid.
Yeah.
Demon.
Way you were talking about
He's
him.
supposed to look like a kid, so he doesn't have his.
Yeah, no, he is supposed to look like
He's
a kid.
cute. It's
Yeah.
a cute costume.
you assume he's a kid the whole
Yeah.
time
Exactly. Yes.
until he's not a kid.
Yeah.
He's
And then all of a
biting
sudden you're
legs.
like, oh my god, he's
chopping
not a kid,
fingers.
he's an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but he's cute. I like him. Yeah.
This is a fun Halloween movie. I would
It's-
recommend
yeah,
watching it if
it's
you
nice.
haven't seen it yet. I mean, I think it's going to be playing on AMC all month for their Fear Fest, which obviously that's on TV, so it's edited, so you don't get to see the
boobs.
nudity, the boobs, you don't get to hear all the swearing or all the violence
Probably
or anything
not some
like
of
that.
the gore.
Just rent it. It's on Prime. It's on wherever.
It's worth
good.
it.
It's good.
It's worth
It's
the
a
rental.
fun Halloween movie that will get you in the mood for Halloween because it definitely, if you love Halloween, you get that vibe.
There's no excuse not to watch this
Yeah,
movie right
agreed.
Yeah, like this whole
Like,
story,
now.
all the
You
four
have, you
stories
have
take
ample time to
Yeah.
watch it.
all the four stories take place on one
Agreed. Yeah,
Halloween.
on one Halloween, absolutely. So,
It's crazy.
So I think that's gonna put a bow on this episode, you guys. But hey, if you want more of our ramblings, more of our photos and thoughts, here's where you can find us on the following social media networks. The newest one, which is a YouTube.
You say what?
YouTube. Go on YouTube, search for America's Hometown Horror. You'll find us. Click subscribe. Mash that bell, baby. Get up in there. Mash that shit.
Is it mash?
Mash that bell.
Mash that bell.
Oh.
Mash that bell. You
Like
can also,
I said,
it's a weird thing
weird
that people
site.
say. Yeah.
Whatever.
You can also find us on Facebook. Just search for America's Hometown Horror. You can tweet at us at Hometown Horror. You can find us on Instagram at Hometown Horror Pod. And you can also shoot us an email message at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com.
How many emails have we gotten?
0.
Still 0. This is some fucking bullshit.
You can also subscribe to our show on the following podcast platforms, including Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, Amazon Music, and wherever else you get your podcasts. My name is Mike. Thanks again for joining us, you guys. I've been joined by Andrew and Kat. Folks, say goodbye to your audience.
Adios, amigos.
Stay spooky, losers.
Bye. Hey, everyone. It's Mike from America's Hometown Horror. And just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because, of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.
Dunkin' is here to keep you running with a much-needed taste of normal. To work, home, or work from home. With the coffee you like, just the way you like it. Whether that's a small hot black coffee, your daily 2 p.m. latte, or a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant and a medium iced coffee with oat milk, 1 sugar, 2 pumps of caramel, 1 pump hazelnut, a swirl of French vanilla, and a shot of espresso.
I call it my PM pep rally. You should really try it.
Whatever it is that gets you running, Dunkin's got you and always will. America runs on Dunkin'.
O'Reilly. This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the 3rd time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.